Do it.
Well, I want to welcome all of you. Hi, Susie. I
Hi.
want to welcome all of you. We're just going to talk a little real estate with some top professionals in the Fresno market. We've got Lindsay Vasquez from Keller Williams, and she owns the Gold Arrow real estate team. And we've got Eric Linville. He owns WCP Realty Group, but his real title is Baller, Big Baller. We got Brian Heinz, who's the branch manager and a loan officer at Sierra Pacific Mortgage, and Jennifer Shade should be joining us here shortly.
I am here.
Oh, there she is.
For some reason, my video is not. Let's see. Hold on.
Well, she is our escrow operations manager for CalAtlantic Title. So I just wanted to kind of get together and just kind of talk some strategy, see what's happening out there, and kind of get a feel for what you guys are seeing, what you're thinking. And let's start with Lindsay. What are you doing marketing wise differently now than you were doing before all this happened?
Well, a lot of the marketing over the last 2 to 3 weeks has been mostly just checking on everyone, checking on my friends, my family, our past clients, making sure they don't need anything. One of my past clients is a nurse, and she actually said, we are out of toilet paper and we can't find any. So I actually ran some over to her and dropped some on her doorstep for her. So a lot of the marketing is changing, and it will be changing. But for me right now, it's more of just making sure my people are okay. I have tweaked the marketing for our listings, though, doing a lot of social media boosting on Facebook and Instagram, since most people I find are probably on social media a lot more now. And then, of course, adding virtual walkthroughs, virtual tours for showings, so that people can view property from wherever they're at.
Yeah. How about you, Eric?
I've been doing the whole care call thing that everybody's talking about these days. Honestly, I'm probably I'm not great at my database management. I think everybody kind of struggles with that if they're really honest, and I'm one of them. But I've talked to people I haven't talked to in 5 years in the last week, and everybody's just great conversations. I mean, they remember you, and they're just really appreciative that you called. I've left several messages, and I get texts back saying, "Hey, that was great. That was so nice." So I think you can't go wrong with that, right? And then the other thing is, when it comes to marketing and things like that, we invested in Matterport 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. So we've been doing 3D virtual tours. We've been doing a lot of online stuff. Part of my marketing mix when I present to a seller is social media based investing on our end to sell their home. So I haven't done a huge shift as far as some of that's concerned. And I don't feel like I'm the best at any of this stuff. And I'm actually really bad at technology, but I haven't really changed too much aside from really digging into my database.
Okay. Yeah. How about from the lender side, Brian? How are you doing things different?
Just basically, I'm trying to do a lot more. I don't really do a lot of social media stuff, but I'm trying to, everything that I feel I'm not good at, I'm trying to dive into more, right? So videos, these Zoom calls, doing a lot of reaching out to friends, family, past clients, having those conversations of seeing how everybody's doing and trying to see if I could help in any way, shape, or form, right? So just reaching out to a lot of people and trying to keep it rolling, because this will pass and we need to hit the ground running and not just be dormant in this time, Right. So that's what I'm doing basically what everybody else said they're doing, just reaching out, We're really working on the people that I do have pre-approved right now, making sure they're getting the information they need that way, because they're already ready to go, right? So, but new business has been a little bit slower on the purchase side. So,
right. How are you, Eric? How are you handling showings? I know you're talking about virtual showings, but are you doing any face-to-face stuff? And if so, how's that go?
again, being all transparent, like I don't work with a lot of buyers anymore, dude. I mainly focus on listing side. So my buyers agents haven't been really cooking too much right now. But I mean, like I went on a listing appointment last week face to face, but I was, booties on, face mask on, gloves on. The clients had them on as well. So that's how I handled the face to face interaction at an actual house. For showings, again, I mean, Matterport's pretty immersive, and then you can get your stills off of all that. And as far as that, I've been a little bit concerned about the listings we have and allowing people into them, obviously. So now we're implementing all the same forms and all the authorizations and this and that, and everybody's got to be signing what they need to sign in order to protect everything. But that's pretty much it, man. I mean, I don't think there's anything too, like, this isn't rocket science, right? It's like, be smart, do what your client allows you to do or doesn't allow you,
Yeah.
And really, I think you got to defer to your clients on what they're comfortable with and what they will and won't let you do.
Right.
So
what's your approach, Lindsay?
So just like Eric, I'm primarily on the listing side. I've done phone consultations and Zoom consultations over the last week and a half. So I've not met with anybody face-to-face. Jadalyn Hobbs is our buyer specialist, and she's been out showing property. And I know that she has a buyer that wants to see 5 tomorrow. So I'm waiting to hear from her to see if those 5 properties, if they're occupied, if those sellers are even letting them in. But same thing, gloves, masks, booties, they're going in. She's got hand sanitizer and Clorox wipes with her, and they're wiping everything down, before and after. And, with the sellers too, if they want to let people in, then absolutely they're still letting people in. And we're just recommending that they are gone when any of the buyers come into the property, and that just in case they touched anything, that they're wiping everything down. I try to emphasize to anybody showing one of our properties that the agent only is the one touching things. So I recommend that the sellers have the lights on, closet doors open, just to minimize touch.
Okay. It's a good deal. And how are you dealing with signings? I know, Brian, you like to be there a lot of times with notaries doing signings, but are you kind of staying away from that, or are you doing signings in the office? What are you doing?
Well, eventually we're going to move to everything's going to be done digitally, right? So docs will be signed online and everything, but every file needs at least 3 to 6 documents notarized, right? So
right.
I've got some notaries that have kind of like said, hey, I'm going to not do any signings in this period. And I've actually, one of my notaries that I use quite often has set up a station at his house, right?
Okay.
He can control that climate. He can control how it's getting scrubbed down, how it's getting sanitized and that sort of thing. And he's having our clients go to his house, right? At the end of the day, we're kind of, trying to eliminate risk at the office, but at the end of the day, business has to be done. And with the title company is not allowing anybody to come in, we have 2 different stations set up, one in my conference room and then one in one of my desks that use strictly for that. And we try to offset them to where we can, completely wipe them down and not have somebody go in there for a couple days, but right now I got to be honest. I mean, we're really busy with refis and purchases. I mean, we're still doing deals. So it's I'm glad, some of our notaries are wanting to set up a station at home. Like I said, to protect them, they have complete control of the environment, right? So who's coming in, who's coming out, how they're cleaning that station, any gloves, masks, however to, keep them safe. So.
Right. Well, I see your escrow officer's on this call, so I'm sure she's glad to hear that you got a lot of refis. But it brings me to a question for you, Jennifer.
Yes.
He kind of brought up digitally signing and everything. And I've heard rumors out there. I haven't heard anything yet from you guys, but I've heard rumors that it's going to kind of go to where everything is done digitally as far as the complete transaction, all the way to the close. How true is that? Where are we at with that?
So at this point in time, we are allowing our documents to go out DocuSign.
And so as long as we're sending them through our DocuSign, we're clear to go ahead and accept them, all documents.
Okay.
So,
And
Is she gonna take you?
no, because we're just going
Sorry, let me
to
mute
Taco
this.
Bell.
I don't know how I mute that guy.
as far as the lender's documents, there are some lenders that are allowing that some of them can be signed DocuSign or their internal signing. And then what happens is the rest does have to be notarized. So therefore, partial packages are coming in that have to be signed in front of a notary.
Okay.
I know at some point they will be going to Ron, but we are not here in California Ron approved. So that's remote online notary. And that is not something that we can do here in California yet. We're hoping that maybe by the end of the year, but probably not before then will that be approved. But other than that, there's still documents that have to be notarized. So there is some definite contact at this moment. We don't see it where it's going to be no contact at all. But I have to say our notaries have done a phenomenal job going out, getting the work done. I mean, we've got people working out of their trunks. We've got them on the on their cars. We've got them sitting at benches. Really, these notaries have been our lifesaver, and we feel very fortunate for the ones that are still working and thankful every day that they are because they're keeping our business running.
Yeah. Yeah, I've talked to several notaries, and some of them have actually gone and rented office spaces. They're doing all kinds of stuff just to stay in the loop and stay busy. Maybe for Lindsay, what kind of strategies have you implemented now, whether it be marketing or how you're handling things? Do you see yourself maintaining even after this whole thing is over with?
Well, I've just noticed that doing phone consultations and even Zoom consultations has been really convenient for my clients. And so it might be where we're not necessarily having to go meet face-to-face for a buyer or a seller consult. It's very convenient. It saves driving time. And I think I'm going to continue to implement that. We're actually in the process of tweaking our buyer and seller guides to talk more about virtual consultations, as well as a lot of the escrow companies like she mentioned are using all the digital signing too. So we're kind of tweaking all of our marketing materials to kind of match all of the new things that have come out. So I'm looking forward to keeping that because it might be where I can pop on and do a consultation from home and not have to, get ready and drive anywhere.
Okay. How about you, Eric?
I mean, similar, implementing those strategies as well, but I don't even know how to say this without, I'm just like kind of an old school dude, right? So I'm dedicating more time to learning. I typically dedicate time to learning, but another cool thing for me lately is I've been reconnecting with a lot of people in our local real estate community, like players in the game that I've been dealing with for 13 plus years and just haven't really talked too much. And I think just dialing into and realizing that locally we have a lot of good resources and knowledge in the form of our colleagues, and not overthinking it. A lot of times people tout going out of town, going to national meetings and national coaches, but we have a lot of good people on a local level that do know a lot. We have a lot that don't know a lot too, but that's for you guys to figure that out. So I'd just say, like, again, I need to be more dedicated to continuing to learn more. And then I would say, I wrote a couple notes, but as corny as it sounds, you have to always be strategic, think strategically. You have to dedicate time to think. I was on a couple calls earlier and they kind of reiterated that point, and it's so true. And part of the reason that our company is structured the way it is because it was very strategic, and it was really to help out in times like this. So while some people are running for the hills, I'm not that worried about it. We have people to call all the time. We have a backlog of people to call. I don't even have enough time to call. And so I think just whatever you do is strategic. It's gotta be, man. Work smarter.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, Brian, I'm hearing a lot in the lending side of a lot of the different programs are kind of being eliminated. You want to shed some light on that?
Yeah, so basically, that is true, right? So right now, because of everything that's going on, this mortgage forbearance that they're trying to, that's out there now, we've seen a lot of guidelines shrink from a company standpoint. For an example, like FHA, right? Minimum credit score for FHA is 640 or higher to be able to do a loan for them for our product guidelines. What I would imagine, what I would just say to everybody that not only, because I'm with Sierra Pacific Mortgage, but we could also broker, right? So it doesn't really, not everybody's following suit, right? So we may be late on some restrictions or guideline changes where other companies might be doing it ahead of the curve, right? Or vice versa. We may have something we jumped on and said, okay, we don't want to take this extra risk. Because if you have a lot of these loans that default or go into foreclosure, if this persists, right, then all I would say is you have your lending partners, make sure they have multiple avenues, and that everybody's talking, right? So everybody's kind of informed, and don't wait till the last second for something to blow up or anything else like that. But we've lost a lot of jumbo products. The non-QM for self-employed people programs we're no longer doing those type of programs. Government minimum score requirements, we have up those. But again, some of these companies that we are able to broker to are still going with the lower FHA FICO scores, 580 to 600. So from a company standpoint, the reason why these lenders are doing that is we have to be able to keep ourselves postured and able to do business in any market, right? So if we just said, hey, we're going to keep doing these, and a lot of these loans sit on our books, that's not good, right? You're going to notice if things keep going the way they are, you're going to see a lot of lenders either following suit or, potentially taking, weeks off from booking loans, right? So again, align yourself with good realtor partners that have different avenues to get the job done, right? So one of the strategies that I take personally is I have probably 6 people in the business from different companies that I communicate with on a weekly basis. That way, I know what they can do, they know what I can do. And if I get in a situation where I'm no longer able to do something, I try to get it to somebody I trust, right? Because at the end of the day, we got to help you guys do more business. So that's kind of how I'm handling it.
You brought up something, you talked about forbearance. Are there any kind of, if this keeps going, I can imagine that there's going to be some people in some trouble. Are there any kind of mortgage assistance programs out? What do you know about that?
Well, yes. I mean, if you have a client that is unable to make their mortgage payment, they can call their servicer directly. So, one of the things I didn't really understand is when the government just said, hey, we have this forbearance program, right? They didn't really go into detail how that works, right? So it's not, you're going to get this free ride for however many months that this goes on, right? So they're either going to figure out how to tack it on at the end, spread it out over time, or essentially modify their current loan. So I would say if people need to go on a forbearance because they were laid off or can't make their mortgage payment because of these times, I call. But if you can't, it's not, if you don't truly need it, don't go use it, because there's plenty of families that need it. And what's happening is everybody's calling to try to get this forbearance information from their servicer. And the servicer doesn't have enough power to get, phone power to get to talk to everybody, right? So it's tying up the lines. So if you've had clients that have issues with getting a hold of their servicer, I would have them wait another, if they made April 1st payment, right? I would have them wait till the end of this month to try to reach out again, because by then I think it will, help with the phone traffic, when they're trying to reach them.
Okay.
So,
Lindsay, where do you see the market going in the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? Where do you see us going?
Well, we've still got sellers, we've still got buyers. I don't think people are going to be changing their minds on whether they need to buy or sell. I hope that Eric can agree. We're hoping that we're going to come out stronger than we were before. You know, I had a really good interview with a home inspector yesterday who just finished up the best first quarter of his business that he's ever had. And 2019 was the best first quarter they had had ever, and 2020 topped that. So I'm really hoping that we're going to rebound just as strong as we were projected to go.
Good. What do you think? What are you seeing there, Eric?
I think it's going to be good personally. Like I'm not, like I said, I'm not too concerned. We had a shortage of inventory coming into this. It's continued to stay that way. We're getting listings coming in, and our pendings are matching it. I mean, I think today our pendings exceeded new listings for the last 24 hours. I think we're carrying I always just look at the cities of Fresno and Clovis. I mean, I think there's like 750-ish listings that are actively available. And I think normally there's like what, 2,500, 2,700, something like that. That's a severe shortage. I know that the new home builders are low capacity right now. My strategic partners are down. So I think across the board, things are just slow, but I think part of it's like what we already discussed earlier is timing. Like how long until COVID really kind of like moves through the system will kind of definitely play into how strong or not strong we are. But I was talking to somebody else, I can't remember, it may have been some of you guys about, you know, all the filings for unemployment and all that stuff going through the roof. And my kind of thoughts on that is, you know, and it's, again, I could be wrong on all this. I mean, who knows? Probably am, but you know, a lot of the unemployment filings are going to be typically maybe a lot of jobs that don't necessarily sustain financially in the first place, and they're also not to your typical home buying profile of a client. You know, I think the higher level positions where they're earning more of a I hate to say the word livable wage, but it's true. You know, are the jobs that aren't going to be cut right away. And if we kind of start pulling out of this situation soon, you know, 2 to 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is, I think we're going to pop right back into gear. So inventory's low, rates are low. I'm positive about where we're going to come out of this.
Good. Let me stick with you, Eric. Let me ask you a question. On the escrow and title side, this is going to be a lot of help for me, and I see a few of my counterparts from up in the Bay Area on the call. What can a title rep bring? What kind of value can we bring during these times? You know, we're not in there in your office and seeing you and coming face to face, but how can we be of more value?
The people that I do business with, they kind of know what I expect, and it's being proactive and putting out fires before they even emerge. And aside from you know, the value of maybe just anything printable that saves me a little bit of money on labels and farming and things like that, I think that's where the value's at, because the people I work with are good. They already know that I don't want bumps in my road, and I do everything I can to avoid the bumps. And then I step back away from them because you're the pro, like you're the title pro, I'm not. So when my client has a question about anything title related, I'm deferring to the professional. Brian, you're the lender. I'm looking at your picture. I don't know where you're at.
Oh yeah.
Whenever there's anything having to do with the loan questions, I defer to the pro. Like I'm not the pro. Like I know a lot about it, but why would I misrepresent or want to misrepresent any information at all? So like the new processes that title companies are developing and however you guys are handling your business, I want to stay out of that. I got enough stuff to worry about, right? Like I'm here to try to generate business and do what I can to be safe for my clients and my people. But when it comes to adding value, I think it's really like being available as it's always been. That's always been the value. And when there's a problem, don't hide under a rock. Just answer the call. To me, so the value is always in communication. Right. You know, we can get through any problem, and doing it together is way easier. So the people that I tend to work with, we don't see a lot of problems.
That's good. How about you, Lindsay?
Yeah, same. I'm an over communicator in my business anyways, and so that's just what I expect. And the same thing, like if a problem's gonna come up, like in my transactions and it's on the transactional side, I like to have several options available for the buyer or the seller to have to solve that problem. So I would hope that anybody that I'm working with, whether it's on the lending side or the escrow and title side, would have solutions lined up, you know, and notify us about that as soon as possible. And having those solutions before notifying us and communicating with us is a big bonus. There's nothing worse than calling about a fire and not having any hoses to put it out, because then everybody gets in freak out mode even more than they already are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just add to that too. You know, when you get a new transaction, right, you kind of, you know, I always use the analogy of Texas Hold'em, right? I look for my outs, right? So when I'm meeting with a client, I kind of like navigate the file based on, okay, if this happens, you know, I need to go this route, or, you know, I have a big game plan for that. So, you know, that's kind of how I treat a file, right? Here's the best way it goes, but if something, you know, we're short funds or we got this or that, I try to always get that done up front.
That's great. That's great. Well, I really appreciate you guys. Is there any questions from anybody out there? Anybody have any questions for these guys?
I guess I just want to say a few things. That I just want to let you know that at CalAtlantic, we are definitely here for you 100%. Our escrow officers are working day and night, whatever they have to do to get the job done. I believe that was probably true with all the title companies. You know, we're taking precautions to make sure that our people are safe in their environment and providing them with all the necessary materials to take care of themselves so that we can continue to support all of you and make sure that your escrows get closed. That's really what we're here for, and we're here to help you. If there's anything we can do for you, please reach out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time. I know Eric and Lindsay and Brian and Jennifer, I know you guys are all super busy and gave of your time freely. So I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Kidder, can you hear me? Dave?
Yes, I can. Yep.
Every time I see you, you're grinding on the phone, dude. I want to know what you're hearing. What are you doing?
You know, I'm spreading it out. I'm talking with lenders to see what problems or what changes they're getting from their underwriters, and I think they've been pretty upfront as far as deals that have gone south or deals that have maybe got delayed. You know, when I ask them about down the road, the future, it's all hopeful optimism that this thing is short-lived and that we do come out of it, you know, relatively soon as we get back to work. But the unemployment numbers are going to be the biggest concern. I'm also I'm talking to my farm. I'm spend a lot more time on Nextdoor than I thought I ever wanted to, but reaching out to especially the I call them the LOLs, the original LOLs, the little old ladies, to make sure that they're okay. The widows, that they have things taken care of. If they need anything, they know that I'm a resource. I'm also going really deep with my vendors, my home improvement guys, my handymen, my painters, my plumbers, my electricians, that they're busy. And it seems like everybody's getting home projects done. So everybody's at home getting their houses honeydews, which is why I'm at the office, so I can avoid that. But I mean, I'm staying real close to my vendors, and they're hearing things. They're probably my first contact sometimes when somebody is thinking of selling. So I'm going deeper with the people that already know and my farm.
That's awesome.
Can I ask another question that's kind of off topic?
Of course.
Lindsay.
Yes.
Redfin lays off 40% of their workforce, and EXP is laying off 15%. What do you think?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you know, our company just made the transition into, you know, the biggest technology piece that our industry's seen. And so we're just leaning into that. And you know, I've been having conversations with a lot of other agents too, and it's you know, they're struggling. And you know, I've been on several calls with agents from multiple companies, and you know, there's no secrets out there. You know, we're all you know, sharing what we're doing, staying in contact with our sphere, and trying to help people out. I've talked to agents, you know, in the luxury market as well. And I think we're very fortunate in Fresno to be at the price point that we're at, because over in Carmel and some of the people that I'm working with down in the LA area aren't so lucky in those markets. So I've just been helping them and sharing with them what I'm still doing, and hoping that they'll be able to pull through it as well.
I think that's a really good point. Like we're at a price point too, like where people could still afford it, right?
Yeah.
Huge, actually. That's a good thing to keep in mind, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions from any of you?
I appreciate you all.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you,
really.
guys.
Thank you.
You got it. We'll chat with you later.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right. Thank you.
See you guys.